Altai. Kyrgyzstan, the state in Central Asia located in the western and central part of mountain system Tian Shan and on Pamirale. In the north borders on Kazakhstan, in the west on Uzbekistan, in the southwest on Tajikistan, in the east and the southeast on China. The capital, Bishkek, is the most inhabited city of the republic, which resident population for the beginning of 2020, 1,053,900 people. The second city on the population Osh. Kyrgyzstan is the presidential secular, unitary republic. State language, Kyrgyz, official, Russian. Monetary unit, Kyrgyzstani som. On the area of the territory, the country takes the 85th place in the world. 199,951 km. The 7th place among the CIS countries. The country takes the 110th place in the world on population B. On November 25, 2015, the 6 million citizen of Kyrgyzstan was born. Kyrgyzstan is a dick of the Commonwealth of Independent States, the Eurasian Economic Union, Collective Security Treaty Organization, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Turkic Council, Organization of Turksoy and United Nations. Kyrgyz make most of the population of the country. The largest ethnic minorities are Uzbeks and Russians. Kyrgyz is actively used and is closely connected with other Turkic languages of Central Asia, the Caucasus, the Volga region and southern Siberia. The Russian is also widespread and is official language. Most of the population, Sunni Muslims. In pre-revolutionary Russia and in the first years of existence of the Soviet power, an ethnonym, Kyrgyz, was used more widely. In a broad sense understood as Kyrgyz, not only modern Kyrgyz. Kyrgyz penalty. But also Kazakhs. Kyrgyz Kesaki. With Karakalpiks. Kyrgyz Karakalpiks. Kyrgyz in imperial time also called Caucasus. C. Kyrgyz Zamlitsa. As a result of national and territorial delimitation of Central Asia, the term Kyrgyzstan appeared in the 1920th years during national state construction in Rusfers. Originally the word Kyrgyzstan was used concerning Kyrgyz by the Asser. 1920-1925. The Kazakh autonomy. In 1924, the Kyrgyz autonomy in the Soviet Union, the Kara-Kyrgyz Autonomous Region as a part of Rusfers was formed. In 1925, Kyrgyz by the Asser it was renamed into Kazakskaya of the Asser, and Kara-Kyrgyz the Joint Stock Company was renamed into Kyrgyz by the Joint Stock Company. Also there was Kyrgyz Karakalpaksky, a joint stock company as a part of the Khorazm Sur, later been Neogenic Karakalpaksky as part of the joint stock company. Since May 25, 1925 the terms Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyzstan, or Kyrgyzstan in Kyrgyz are applied to the Kyrgyz statehood within the Soviet Union, and after the collapse of the USSR, and to the territory of the modern independent Kyrgyz state. During the collapse of the USSR, along with sovereignty declaration as federal republics, one of which was Kyrgyz, in a number of the republics renaming of the Russian names of the countries and cities according to phonetics of languages of title ethnoses was made. So in Kyrgyzstan, instead of the traditional Russian name of the country, Kyrgyzstan, officially and everywhere began to use the names Kyrgyz Republic and Kyrgyzstan.
The same name of the country in Russian is used in the international organizations and international treaties by one of the working or official languages accepted within these organizations, in which Russian is.
In various bilateral interstate contracts signed as well in Russian, the names Kyrgyz Republic and the Kyrgyz Republic are used. Danish Chakasu 7439 m. The highest point of the Republic. Lenin Peak 7134 m. The second highest point of the Republic. Peak of Kontengri 7010 m or 6995 m without an ice cover. The third highest point of the Republic. Kyrgyzstan has no outlet to the sea.
Completely is located in northern and east hemispheres, between 39°-43° northern latitude and 69°-80° east longitude.
The distance from east to the western part of the state makes about 900 km, and from northern to the most southern about 410 km. The country borders on China in the east and the southeast, Kazakhstan in the north, Uzbekistan in the west, and Tajikistan in the south. Total length of frontier is 4,675.17 km, of them 1241.58 km with Kazakhstan, 1378.44 km with Uzbekistan, 970.8 km with Tajikistan, and 1084.35 km with China. At the same time 823.04 km of sites of border not of a delimiter Vanna.
With Uzbekistan -371.34 km and Tajikistan -451.7 km.
Thus, from the total length of frontier with Uzbekistan 1007.1 km, or 73.1%, with Tajikistan -519.1 km, or 53.4% are described and approved. The frontier passes mainly on crests of ridges and the rivers. Only in the north, the northwest and the southwest, in densely populated Chuya and Fergana, and also in Talas valleys, on feet of mountains and foothill plains. Kyrgyzstan has the Uzbek enclaves, Tride, Shakamardan, Chongara and Jangail, both Tajik, Vorik and Western Kalach. Northern three-quarters of the territory of Kyrgyzstan occupy mountains. The territory of the country is located within two mountain systems. Our northeast part lies within Tian Shan, southwest within Pamiroli. All territory of the Republic lies higher than 394 m above sea level, average height above sea level -2750 m.
More than a half of her territory is located at the heights from 1000 to 3000 m and about a third at the heights from 3000 to 4000 m.
Danish Chakasu is the highest point of the country and the most northern 7 Chilyark on earth, its height -7439 m. In the east the main ridges Tian Shan approach near the meridional ridge, creating powerful mountain knot. On border with China and Kazakhstan Danish Chakasu 7439 m. And Kontengri 7010 m or 6995 m without an ice cover. Rises. The western part of Kyrgyzstan is located within the western Tian Shan. His major orographical elements. In the south the northern slope of the Turkestan Range, the Alay Valley, and a northern slope of the Trans-Alay Range, making the northern outskirts of Pamir, belong to Kyrgyzstan.
The highest point of the Trans-Alay Range and the second highest in Kyrgyzstan, Lenin Peak, which height is 7134 m.
In the southwest borders of Kyrgyzstan include northern, east and southern outskirts of the Fergana Hollow with the foothills. Geographically, Kyrgyzstan conditionally is divided ridges and passes into the north. The Talas Chuya Issyk-Kul and Nering regions. And the south. The Bakan, Osh and Jalalabad regions. The north and the south of the republic connect the mountain highway Bishik-Osh. In way from the north on the south the road runs through a tunnel. 30 to 40 m. Length is 3 km. Underpass Tuashu. The Camel Pass. 3400 m. The Susamursky Valley, the Pass of Alabel. 3200 m. The Gorge Chichkin, the Toktagal Reservoir, Pass Kayukbel. 2700 m. With the subsequent departure to the Fergana Valley. The major orographical elements.
By estimates of researchers, 97.8% of all settlements of the Republic are located in areas with seismicity of 8-9 points.
Sharply continental, droughty nature of climate of Kyrgyzstan, which is a little smooth from increase in overcast and rainfall at the expense of a mountain relief, is caused by 3 factors. Arrangement in the northern hemisphere in the center of Eurasia, remoteness from considerable water objects and the close neighborhood of deserts. Temperature amplitudes vary strongly, on average, from 30 C in mountain valleys in the winter up to plus 27 C in summertime in the Fergana Valley. The most high taken temperature of plus 44 C and the lowest 53.6 C. The amount of precipitation also strongly differs in different places. On high slopes of Draft reach 200 m a year, and on the west bank of Issyk-Kul less than 100 m a year. The country generally solar also receives, on average, 2900 sundal a year, though in some valleys almost constant overcast and no more than 4 hours of a clear weather per day is noted. Glaciers of Kyrgyzstan make reserves of fresh water not only the Republic, but also all Central Asia and are the main power supplies of the rivers. In the Republic there are about 8,000 glaciers which occupy 4%. About 8,000 km. Territories of Kyrgyzstan, and together with eternal snow they occupy 40.5% of the territory of the country. About 81,000 km. A much more the area of glaciers of the Caucasus and the Alps combined. About 650 km are stored in glaciers. Ice. In Kyrgyzstan there are about 30,000 rivers which total length is about 150,000 km, and according to other data minus 35,000 km. All large rivers of the Republic arise highly in mountains, eat mainly meltwater of glaciers and snow. Because of the nature of a relief of the Republic, distinguish the mountain section of the river and flat. The most part of river systems belongs to the Aral Basin, to the systems of the large rivers of Central Asia, the Sirdarya and Amudarya. Basins of the Kura and Talas rivers, though belong to the basin of the Aral Sea, but the waters don't inform the main waterways and make a drainless hydrographic system together with the basin of the Lake Issyk-Kul. The southeast part of the territory of the Republic is the field of formation of a drain of the Turin River, the waterway of the western China, and the small pool area of the Karkara River belongs to the basin of Lake Bagash. The largest river of the Republic, Neren, is formed by confluence of Big and Small Neren. Daria is the main component of the river, belongs to the Aral Basin.
Length within the Republic -535 km, the area of the pool -53700 km.
Kyrgyzstan allocates two hydrological areas. Field of formation of a drain and area of dispersion of a drain. The field of formation of a drain occupies 87% of the space of the Republic, an area of dispersion of a drain -13%. The most part of area of dispersion of a drain of the large rivers is outside the territory of Kyrgyzstan. The area of dispersion of a drain is characterized considerably by smaller loss of an atmospheric precipitation than on hillsides and intensive evaporation. Therefore, formation of a superficial drain is limited, and in places is absent. Besides, the drains created in mountains, passing through these territories, are lost, filtering into friable deposits of foothill loops and plains, and also get on irrigation. On Piedmont Plains it is formed zones of wedging out of underground waters where many rivers receive additional food. Exits of groundwaters, places in significant amounts, form small rivers, streams which in them call for transparency of water penalty su. On the mode of a drain of the river of Kyrgyzstan treat the Tian Shan and Altai types. The rivers of the first type eat mainly meltwater of Snezhnikov highlands and glaciers. The water consumption in them increases in the summer during rough thawing, reaching a maximum in July-August. The rivers of the Altai type eat mainly meltwater of seasonal snow of middle mountains. The water consumption in them increases in the spring and as snow at different heights thaws Razno-Vremeno, the high water stretches. In the summer the drain in these rivers decreases.
In Kyrgyzstan about 200 lakes which total area is 6836 km. The majority of lakes are mountainous and lie at the height from 2500 to 4000 m above sea level.
Thawing of glaciers is the main reason for formation of lakes. In the Republic, three large lakes: Esekul, Songkol and Chaderkayol.
In the northeast of the country there is the seventh in depth lake in the world, the Lake Esekul, located at the height of 1609 m above sea level.
The lake is located in the Esekul Hollow, between ridges Kongoy-Elitu from the north, and Taski-Elitu from the south, on which northern coast numerous boarding houses, sanatoria and tourist bases are located. In 105 km to the east from the Lake Esekul there is a mountain lake Merzbekera of glacial origin with the icebergs floating on a surface, well known for the fact that during the summer period water, having reached a certain level, quickly with noise disappears. The lake is located around merge of glaciers Northern Inilchik and Yushny Inilchik. The woods occupy 3.5% of the total area of the country.
7041 km.
For January 1, 2017. Kyrgyzstan contains more than 4,000 species of vascular plants. In light forests at the height of 2000-2500 m different types of herbs and plants, including a fir-tree Tian Shan and Edelweiss grow. The fauna is presented by more than 500 species of vertebrate animals. From them 335 bird species and 49 species of fish. and 3,000 species of insects, many of which are rare and are included in the Red List. In cypress forests of Tian Shan herds of Archer, Merrill's meat and also the endemic Tian Shan brown bear lives. Foxes, wolves, gophers and small mammals, such as jerboas and creepers live in mountain valleys. The mountain rivers are rich with atrap. The snow leopards living mainly in highlands in the past inhabited the most part of the country, but today population of Aluk is limited. Agel, or a lunar flower, a grassy plant, an endemic of the south of Kyrgyzstan, a type of the sort hazel grass.
For the first time, endangered species of animals and plants of Kyrgyzstan included in the Red List of the USR in 1978.
In the next years the list extended, and data on the types which are under the threat of disappearance became more, and in 1985 the Red List of the Kyrgyzstan was published. Then in 2006 it was republished in the Red List of Kyrgyzstan. In Kyrgyzstan there are 88 especially protected natural territories. Etnt. Of various status. Nature reserves, natural parks, wildlife areas, biospheric territories. The total area of UKT is 1,476,121, 6 hectares, or 14761.21 km. 7.38% of the area of the Republic. Lake Issyk-Kul. Today function. 10 nature reserves. 509,952, 7 hectares. 13 natural parks. 724,670, 2 hectares. 64 wildlife areas. From the Mate Forest, 23 botanical, 2 complex and 12 hunting. Zoological. 19 geological. Which total area 241,498, 7 hectares. 1 biospheric territory. 4,314,400 hectares. In 1998 the biospheric territory of Issyk-Kul on the area of 4,314,400 hectares. The administrative territory of the Issyk-Kul region, which by the current legislation is equated to the status of the protected natural territories at the national level with a specific mode of protection was formed.
Since 2001 the biospheric territory of Issyk-Kul was included by the decision of UNESCO in worldwide network of biospheric wildlife reserves.
The reserved territories of the Republic having the international value treat.
The Issyk-Kul Reserve, which since 1976 together with the Lake Issyk-Kul is included in the international list of wetlands of the Ramazan Convention as the vacation spot on flight and winterings of natatorial and opalavani birds.
This list also included Lakes Chaytor-Kul, 2005, and Sun-Kul, 2011. Of the Karataljapuryksky Reserve, which is the place of nesting of a mountain goose, a type of msop included in the international red list, and 2 birds living here, a swan klikin and a crane belladonna, are included in the red list of Kyrgyzstan.
The Serichalevsky National Biospheric Park in 1979, the person and the biosphere, was included by the decision of the program of UNESCO in the International Network of Biospheric Wildlife Reserves.
Here monitoring of all natural object and complex is carried out. In the territory of the reserve it is equipped and the metic post functions. The mineral resources of the country are made by fields of precious, non-ferrous and rare metals, non-metallic raw materials, fuel and energy resources. Kyrgyzstan has considerable potential by many types of natural mineral raw materials. In her territory, several thousands of various fields and ore occurrences of ore and non-metallic minerals are revealed. Among main types of minerals: gold, mercury, antimony, ores of rare earth elements, tin, tungsten, coal, non-metallic raw materials. On October 25. On November 1917 in Petrograd, Red Guards, soldiers of the Petrograd garrison and sailors of the Baltic Fleet excited an armed revolt, thereby having overthrown provisional government. On the same day there began work the two All-Russian Congress of Councils of Working and Soldiers Deputies, with which decision all local authorities passed to Councils of Working, Soldiers and Country Deputies.
In November 1917, Suluktinsky miners, the first in the territory of Kyrgyzstan, proclaimed the Soviet power.
Then she is established to Kızılkaya, Talas in January 1918 in Ash. In November 1917 in the Oak Park in Pespeka, the decision to make the city Soviet is made.
On January 1, 1918, at a meeting of Council of Soldiers, Working and Country Deputies in Pespeka adopted the resolution to join the central power of Petrograd and Tashkent.
The Bolshevik G1 Shetsbazarny is elected the chairman of the board. In May of the same year in Przewozk, the Soviet power, thanks to support of Krasnogvardeyski group from Tru, in June in Naren is established. Thus, to summer of 1918 in all territory of Kyrgyzstan without bloodshed the Soviet power was established.
On January 12, 1918, at the All-Russian Congress of Councils, the Declaration of the Rights of the Worker and the Exploited People was approved, the constitutional act which legislatively approved bases of new state system of Russia fixed gaining the October Revolution and defined tasks of the Soviet power.
It is specified in the declaration that the Soviet Russian Republic is established on the basis of the free union of the free nations as Federation of the Soviet National Republics, providing to workers and peasants of each nation to make independently the decision at an unauthorized Soviet Congress
whether they and on what basis to participate in the federal government and in other federal Soviet institutions wish. At the 5th Turkestan Congress of Councils on April 30, 1918 in the territory of the former Turkestan Governorate General, the Turkestan Soviet Republic as a part of Rusfers is proclaimed.
In 1921 the question of creation as a part of Turkestan was brought up by the Asar of Mountain Kyrgyz area, however this question wasn't solved. And in March 1922 the Kyrgyz intellectuals in person by Abrakmanova 1 Arabafa Sadikov repeatedly made the proposal on allocation of counties with the Kyrgyz population to the Mountain Kyrgyz area. But the actual embodiment of the offer fails because of the begun disagreements between various groups of nationalist and tribal sense after creation of Mountain Kyrgyz area, which led to dissolution of an organizational congress of Stalin planned for June 4, 1922 in Pespeka according to the direct instruction, which opinion also influenced the May decision. The Central Committee of Rock B.
In December 1922 declared illegal all earlier accepted documents on creation of Mountain Kyrgyz area, and accused initiators of convocation of a Congress of bourgeois nationalism and counter-revolutionary activity. In January 1924, the 12th Turkestan Congress of Sovetov made the decision to finish all preparatory work for Turkish Public's division into districts on the basis of economic and natural historical science, and to start reorganization according to its administrative and economic board.
In May 1924, the 8th Congress of the Communist Party of Turkestan, and then in the Central Committee (CC) of the Bukhara and Khorasan Communist parties in the Iraq (B) Central Committee Central Asian Bureau recognized national delimitation as timely and expedient.
This decision of the Central Asian Communist Party organizations was approved by the Central Committee of Iraq
(B) in July 1924. Preparatory work on national delimitation ended by September 1924. On September 16, 1924, the extraordinary session of the Secheks Turkestan the Asa adopted the resolution on national state delimitation. The second session of the All-Russian Central Executive Committee (ARSEC) of the 11th Convocation approved this resolution on October 14, 1924. Thereby the Kyrgyz Autonomous Region. In May 1925 it is renamed into the Kyrgyz Autonomous Region. As a part of Rusfers was formed. The Kyrgyz Republic according to the constitution adopted on June 27, 2010. The last amendment is adopted on December 11, 2016 on a referendum. Is the sovereign, democratic, constitutional, secular, unitary, social state. In the constitution the form of government isn't specified. In official sources is declared about the parliamentary form of government. De facto the form of government mixed. From Almazbek Atambayev's performance. The President of Kyrgyzstan of 2011-2017. On the parade dated for the 25th anniversary of independence of Kyrgyzstan in 2016. First, the Constitution of 2010 didn't introduce the parliamentary system of board in the country. This constitution led us to a presidential and parliamentary system, and in her all conditions for creation of authoritarian regime are put. A. Shens. Atambayev. The President is the head of state and the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces. Heads the Security Council, represents unity of the people and the government, conducts foreign and personnel policy. In foreign policy. Conducts negotiations and signs the international contracts in coordination with the Prime Minister. Has the right to delegate the specified powers to the Prime Minister, members of the government and other officials. Signs instruments of ratification and diplomas about accession. Appoints in coordination with the Prime Minister of heads of diplomatic missions of Kyrgyzstan in the foreign states and permanent representatives in the international organizations. Recalls them. Accepts accrediting and letters of recall of heads of diplomatic missions of the foreign states. A president, a citizen of Kyrgyzstan not younger can be elected 35 years and 70 years, knowing a state language and living in the republic in total not less than 15 years aren't more senior. The number of presidential candidates isn't limited. The person which collected not less than 30,000 signatures of voters can be registered by the candidate for president. The president is elected by national vote for a period of 6 years, without the right of re-election for the second term.
The last presidential elections took place on January 10, 2021.
Saidazopra previous, Suranbay Zinbakov, who resigned after Massachusetts protests, became the new president.
The Parliament of the Republic Kyrgyzstan is the supreme representative body which is carrying out legislature and control functions within the powers. As a priority of the decision and definition of the most important decisions and the policy of the state is unicameral and consists of 120 deputies elected for a period of 5 years on a proportional system.
By results of elections, no more than 65 deputy mandates in Parliament can be provided to political party. Now the 6 convocations of Gorka Kenish the electi 2015 works on October 4. Justice is carried out only by court. Judicial authority is carried out by means of constitutional, civil, criminal, administrative and other forms of legal proceedings. The judicial system consists of the Supreme Court and local courts. The Supreme Court is the supreme judicial authority on civil, criminal, economic, administrative and other cases. Carries out revision of judicial acts of vessels according to addresses of participants of trial. Acts of the Supreme Court are final and aren't subject to the appeal. In its structure, the Constitutional Chamber, the body exercising the constitutional control, works. Executive power in the Republic is carried out by the government, the ministries subordinated to it, the state committees, administrative departments and local public administrations. The government is the supreme body of executive power. The government consists of the Prime Minister, Vice Prime Ministers, Ministers and Chairman of the state committees. The structure of the government includes the ministries and the state committees. The government is headed by the Prime Minister. The government is accountable to Zogurt Kenish and is responsible before him in the limits provided by the existing constitution. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. Tukabishakrasny Tukkosny Tukkatukkensny Tukkadzelabakrasny Tukkatalaskrazny Tukkakakrasny. The cities, areas and also rural districts, the administrative and territorial units consisting of one or several villages are considered as administrative and territorial units. Kyrgyzstan in the administrative territorial relation is divided into 7 areas, including 2 cities of republican value. Districts of the cities of republican value aren't independent administrative and territorial units. In Kyrgyzstan 531 administrative and territorial units, from them. Armed Forces of Kyrgyzstan, the state military organization intended for ensuring reliable protection of the state sovereignty, territorial integrity, the constitutional system, society and citizens of the Kyrgyz Republic and implementation of obligations according to international treaties. According to the existing constitution, armed forces of Kyrgyzstan are under construction according to the principle of self-defense and defensive sufficiency. The right of warfare doesn't admit, except for cases of aggression, mines Kyrgyzstan and other states connected by obligations of collective defense. Use of armed forces outside Kyrgyzstan for performance of tasks according to international treaties is carried out according to the decisions of Gorka Kenish by the majority not less than 2/3 of voices of the total number of deputies. The most important partners of Kyrgyzstan are Russia, Kazakhstan and China. Relationship with Uzbekistan, good neighborhood. Also interest in the Republic is shown by Turkey, on language, which in 1999-2012 rendered to Bishkek military aid on the total amount of $12.5 million, in 2012 wrote off the Kyrgyz debt of $50 million. Russia is the most important economic and political partner of Kyrgyzstan, renders considerable humanitarian and military technical assistance. In Russia, the considerable number of citizens of Kyrgyzstan works.
Prior to the beginning of the old years, presence of China was minimum, but after the limitation of border and opening of checkpoints, the People's Republic of China sharply intensified the penetration into Central Asia in general and to Kyrgyzstan in particular.
A relationship with Kazakhstan the closest among all adjacent states.
After opening of customs border in 2015, commodity turnover grew.
In Kyrgyzstan since 1991 there is a multi-party system. Erkin Kyrgyzstan, created in 1991, became the first non-communistic party in post-Soviet Kyrgyzstan. For the beginning of 2018 to the Republic 229 political parties. By the beginning of 1994, 8, in their 1999 was 18. Are registered. Following the results of elections to Zagorka Kenish of 2015, there passed 6 political parties. Most parties between elections shows passivity. Besides political parties, in Kyrgyzstan there are other non-governmental public organizations. At the beginning of the 2010 years in the Republic there were, according to different data, from 10 to 16,000 non-governmental public organizations, but from them no more than 700 really functioned. Labor unions of Kyrgyzstan are united in the Federation Council of Labor Unions consisting of 20 industry committees. The number of members of labor unions for the post-Soviet period was sharply reduced, despite growth of the population of Kyrgyzstan. In 1990 in labor unions of Kyrgyzstan there were people, and in 2013 only persons. That is, for 23 years the number of members of labor unions was reduced more than twice.
Reduction of number of labor unions is connected with reduction of number of the enterprises and institutions because of an economic crisis, with privatization and transition of a part of hired workers to individual work.
Resident population of Kyrgyzstan -6,389,500 people. For January 1, 2019. It much more than lived in the country in 1959. Card. 1970. Card. 1979. Card. 1989. Card. 1999. Card. Years. Till 1968 years the population of the Republic quickly grew due to migration and natural increase. Rural Kyrgyz, Uzbeks and other Central Asian people had especially considerable last. On November 25, 2015 the population of Kyrgyzstan reached 6 million people. A she part of the population is concentrated on the south of the Republic, the Osh, Jalalabad, Bakan regions and the city of Osh. 4 million inhabitants are 53% of the population of the Republic. Which population lives mostly in the Kyrgyz part of the Fergana Valley. Also considerable share of the population is concentrated in the Chuai Valley, Chuai region and the city of Bishkek.
1.9 million inhabitants, or 31% of the population of the republic.
The most densely populated areas,
including the population of the cities of republican value:
Osh and Chuya. National structure of resident population: Kyrgyz 73.3%, Uzbeks 14.6%, Russians 5.6%, to the Dunjina 1.1%, Uyghurs 0.8%, Tajiks 0.8%, others 3.4%.
The main population of the country minus 4,587,430 people are made by the Kyrgyz living in all territory of the country and prevail in the majority of rural areas.
Uzbeks minus 918,262 persons concentrated in the southwest of the country in areas border with Uzbekistan are in the second place on number.
Russians minus 352,960 people concentrated mainly in the cities and villages in the north of the republic are in the third place on number.
The population of other nationalities doesn't exceed 100,000 people. Now, a state language of Kyrgyzstan is Kyrgyz. Russian has the status official. In Kyrgyzstan, the official status lower than the status of state. According to the Constitution of the Kyrgyz Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic of 1929, both languages, Kyrgyz and Russian, were state. According to a census of 2009, for 4.1 million people Kyrgyz is native or second language, and for 2.5 million people native or second language is Russian. Russian, the most widespread second language, he is followed by the Kyrgyz, Uzbek and English languages. The vast majority of believers in Kyrgyzstan, Sunni Muslims of Hanafitsky madhab. There are Christians, Orthodox Christians, Catholics and various Protestant currents. At the same time, Kyrgyzstan is the secular state.
The authorities of the country punish representatives of clergy for execution of the religious practices contradicting the legislation of the republic.
For example, in 2016, the law punishing any criminal order from 3 to 6 years of imprisonment of representatives of clergy who participate in consecration of marriage with the person which didn't reach age of consent is adopted. Kyrgyzstan belongs to the category of the agrarian industrial countries. On the level of national competitiveness in 2019, I took the 96th place in the world.
GDP volume on PPS for 2018 was $167 billion, the 144th place in the world.
The rates of economic growth recorded in 2017, about 4.6%. The 63rd place in the world. Revenues of the state budget for 2018, $1.67 billion, account minus $2.409 billion, budget deficit minus 3.2% of VVV.
Following the results of 2018, the nominal volume of GDP of Kyrgyzstan developed at the level of about $81.9
million, that is about $1280. 91.8 thousand som. Per capita.
GDP at par of consumer ability is 24491, $78 million.
GDP per capita at par of consumer ability is $39.79. Following the results of 2018, manufacturing industry produces only 20% of GDP of Kyrgyzstan. Gold mining, one of the few industries which are actively developing in the republic, gives about 40% of industrial production. In 2018, Kyrgyzstan extracted 20.43 t of gold. In 2008 came to the third place in the CIS after Russia and Uzbekistan. 48% working or occupied with agriculture and livestock production. In Kyrgyzstan, by different estimates, more than 70% of public industries are privatized.
Controlling stakes of holdings of the energy sector of Kyrgyzstan, Jesk Elektrocheskystan and Ost Kyrgyzneftgaz, also main monopolists in various sectors of economy.
Jesk Kyrgyztelecom, the Kyrgyz railroads, the international airport Manas and so on, are in state property. A rather notable injection in economy of the Republic of money transfers from the labor migrants and Kyrgyzstanites who obtain citizenship of other countries. By different estimates, these injections make up to $800 million a year. On July 3, 2013, the large substation of 500 kV with the 501 MV auto transformer in the south of the republic is put into operation.
Exim Bank of China allocated on the project a credit to the amount of $208 million for a period of 20 years under 2% per annum. On August 28, 2015, the substation of 500 kV came in with the 501 MV auto transformer and the power line of 500 kV that came in 404.
82 km long, which connected southern, where there are main hydroelectric power stations, and northern, the main consumption regions of the country, is put into operation and will allow to ensure energy security of the republic. Exim Bank of China allocated on the project a credit to the amount of $389.8 million for a period of 20 years under 2% per annum. In 2017, reconstruction of the Bishkek combined heat and power plant is completed.
Exim Bank of China allocated on the project a credit to the amount of $386 million for a period of 20 years under 2% per annum. Negotiations on construction of the international railway line China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, with the subsequent exit to the European countries continue.
For April 11, 2019, the public external debt of Kyrgyzstan makes $38.27 million, and the public internal debt more than $656.6 million.
Foreign trade turnover
$672 billion. 2018. Export -1, $765 billion. 2018. Import -4, $907 billion. 2018. Main buyers of export. 2014. Switzerland -27.2%, Russia -19.2%, Uzbekistan -14.3%, Kazakhstan -11.4%, France 6.7%. Main suppliers of import. 2014. Russia -36.6%, China -17.9%, Kazakhstan -9.2%, Germany -8.2%.
Though the most part of the population of Kyrgyzstan is engaged in agriculture, purchases of food are abroad considerable.
In 2010, the Republic imported 303.9 thousand tons of wheat, 110.9 thousand tons of flour, 59.9 thousand tons of sugar, 25.2 thousand tons of vegetable and animal oils, 50.5 thousand tons of meat.
Despite relative geographical proximity, a trade turnover with India it is insignificant, $27.48 million in 2009/2010.
The much bigger value in foreign trade of Bishik is played by the USA, with commodity turnover in which was 2014 $210.7 million. 2.3% of commodity turnover of Kyrgyzstan were the share of Turkey in 2009. At the same time, the Kyrgyz export made $36.7 million and the Turkish import -$72.8 million. Tourist flow is considerable and comparable on number to the population of Kyrgyzstan. In 2013, the Republic was visited by 76,000 people, of whom the vast majority was made by residents of the CIS countries. 2,921.6 thousand. Unemployment, according to official figures, -73.4 thousand people. 3.5% of economically active population. In September 2011, the average salary was 8,300 som. About $200. Average life expectancy of the population made 70 years. Men and have 74 years, 66 years at women. Poverty in Kyrgyzstan in 2020 made 19.6%. The national health care system was fully influenced by consequences of the collapse of the USSR.
Kyrgyzstan realizes the strategy of WHO for the purpose of achievement of general coverage services of health care and strengthening of a health care system.
Increase in capacity of service of public health care.
Solution of safety issues of health.
And strengthening of fight against infectious and non-infectious diseases. Priorities of collaboration as stated in the biennial cooperation agreement between WHO and Kyrgyzstan. In general, 1 doctor is the share of 450 people of the population, 1 hospital bed of 230 people. The state allocations for healthcare in 2017 were about 6.2% of GDP. The expected average life expectancy by calculations of 2020 reaches 71.8 years. Kyrgyzstan treats the countries with the high level of infectious incidence. This situation with spread of HIV infection is rather safe. Basis for modern education in Kyrgyzstan is the Soviet system. After finding of independence, reforms in education were undertaken.
School education is calculated for 11 years, from them 9 are obligatory.
Elementary school, with 1 on 4 classes, children from 6, 7 to 11 years study. There are also preparatory 0 classes. Elementary school of children trains in basic knowledge, such as writing, reading, studying of languages, arithmetic, lessons of aerodynamics, work, ethics and physical culture. Middle school, with 5 on 9, children from 12 to 16 years. In middle school begin studying of scientific objects, the mathematician, information technologies, a profound learning of foreign languages and others. High school -10, 11. In spite of the fact that 10, 11 classes are not obligatory, more than 80% of school students study in high school. Here pupils continue to study the same objects as in middle school, the military science, and also preparation for entering higher education institutions begins. Upon termination of the 11th class, school students take final examinations and all Republican testing. Ort. By results of which there is enrollment in the universities. In the early 90s, schools, gymnasiums with profound studying of separate objects and specialties began to be created. In 2000, the number of comprehensive public schools was minus 1975 schools. Now then more than 2000. In the large cities, private elite schools open. At the same time, the noticeable number of children of 17 years doesn't study. In 2013, such was in the Republic, according to official figures, 2901 persons, from which 1021 persons worked. For 1990 in the Republic there were only 9 higher education institutions where 58.8 thousand students studied.
During independence, the number of higher education institutions sharply increased, and by the beginning of the 2010 years reached 52, from which 36 state. The number of students also increased, and at the beginning of the 2010 years made about 220,000 in the Republic. The international joint higher education institutions function.
The Kyrgyz Russian Slavic University, Monas, and LA2, the American University in Central Asia.
In 2011 in the country 99 people, of whom able-bodied persons without certain occupations made 79.1%, were condemned.
The vast majority was condemned for thefts. 1713 people. Drug trafficking. 1248 people. And for hooliganism. 766 people. As well as in general on the CISIS, the vast majority of convicts men. 89.5% in 2011. Make. In 2017 in the country 27706 crimes were registered, 7172 people are condemned. Thus, reduction of number of the condemned persons in comparison with 2011 is observed. Total length of highways in the country of 34000 km, including 18810 km of public roads and the Ministries of Transport and Communications of Kyrgyzstan serviced by road divisions, and km of roads of the cities, villages, agricultural, industrial and other enterprises. Extent of highways of the international value is 4163 km, state minus 5678 km, local value minus 8969 km. Extent of public roads with a hard coating is 7228 km, including 11 km with a cement concrete covering of them, 4969 km with an asphalt concrete covering, and 2248 km with a Chernograviny covering. Roads with a gravel covering minus 9961 km, dirt roads minus 1621 km.
Total length of regional transport corridors of Kyrgyzstan is 2242 km, to which 9 routes belong.
Now corridors Osh, Bishkek and Osh, Saratash, Erkashtam are reconstructed. Work with China Road Corporation on reconstruction of the Bishkek-Naren Highway, Toragat is conducted. Works on reconstruction of roads on the Bishkek, Talas, Taras directions and Osh, Batken, Isfahan are continued. Works on construction of the second highway, the north, the south, Bishkek, Balaki, Kazarman, Jalalabad are conducted. For the end of 2012 in the country there were 949 bus and trolleybus routes. 51 international, 58 interregional, 552 intraregional, 288 city. Railway transport consists of several isolated parts. Railway lines and certain sites.
The Arch-State Academic Uzbek Musical and Drama Theatre of Baber, the oldest professional theatre of Kyrgyzstan, the second oldest theatre in Central Asia.
Kyrgyz State Philharmonic Hall of a name of Tokhtagul of Satilganov. For 2010, 35 radio stations, 10 channels of on-air and cable broadcasting, 1 state and 3 large private news agencies worked in the Republic. There were 250 printing editions.
The beginning of telecasting in the Republic belongs to 1958-1959, when transfers of television to the front studio were carried out.
In 1992 there was the first private broadcasting company, Pyramida. In 2010 the state broadcasting company was transformed to public TV and radio broadcasting. Holidays. January 1 New Year. January 7 Christmas.
February 23 Defender of the Fatherland Day.
March 8 International Women's Day. March 21 Nowruz Nowruz. April 7 Day of the National April Revolution.
May 1 Work Holiday.
May 5 Constitution Day. May 9 Victory Day. August 31 Independence Day. According to the lunar calendar. Herman. November 7 8 Days of History in Memory of Ancestors. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.